So welcome to the golden rules for 2026. My name's Peter Czapp and I'm the co-founder of the Wow Company. And just in case you don't know about Wow, we're an accountancy practice that specializes in working with £1 million plus agencies and consultancies. And we do all the things you'd expect an accountancy practice to do. We'll do your accounts, your tax, your payroll. But that is not the reason that we are famous. What we are famous for is our incredible outsourced finance service, where we completely take away the hassle from your finance function, and also our insights that have the power to genuinely transform your performance, not just this year, but for several years to come, particularly around profitability. That's what we do. And today I'll be peering into the year ahead as I share the golden rules for 2026, 6 ingredients for a successful year. Let's get started. First up, if you're serious about 2026 being a successful year for you, it is imperative that you do this. Focus only on what you can control. And to get us thinking about this, I want to share with you some circles. The 3 circles, in fact. And first one isn't technically a circle. I know that. It's an oval. It's the oval of concern. And I wanted to make it an oval because it's just so big. It's all of the things that we are concerned about in our businesses, in our lives. And right now, this feels like a lot to be concerned about. We're concerned about the economy. We're concerned about what Rachel Reeves might do in the budget next week. We might be concerned about what Trump's going to do next, or is the AI bubble going to burst, and is that going to affect all of our businesses? There's a myriad of things that we might be concerned about in relation to our business, but we cannot affect any of them. What else can we focus on? Well, maybe we can look at what we can influence, because there's lots of things that we can influence. We can influence the number of clients that we pick up. We can influence the quality of our service. We can influence the performance of our team. But we cannot directly control those things, not directly. So my encouragement to you is to focus on this smaller circle, the circle of control. And this contains only the things that you can directly affect, directly impact, and directly control. So let's have a look at what this looks like for new business, because there's so much that we might be concerned about around new business. All of the things I mentioned before, basically the economy. It affects us, of course it does, but we cannot impact it. So my suggestion is we don't give it any second thought. What can we influence though? Well, we can certainly influence the number of new leads that we receive, and we can influence the size of the businesses that are getting in touch, the quality of those interactions, and also potentially the budget that they have. We can influence all of those things. We can influence our average client value. We can influence our conversion rate. And ultimately, based on all of those things, we can influence the number of new clients that we pick up. However, we cannot control it. We do not have a magic wand. We can only influence it. The ultimate results are not within our control. So what is in our control? Well, when it comes to new business, we can control our messaging. That is completely within our control. We control what our website looks like, the case studies that we put on it, how clearly we articulate our specialism or our niche, and the value that we will add to our clients. We are in full control of our messaging. That's on us. What else are we in control of? Well, we're in control of all of the activity that we do. Content, events, campaigns, the volume of them, the quality of them. Those things are completely within our control. And it's that which I'm encouraging you to focus on. In fact, that's what I'm only encouraging you to focus on, just that which you can control. And in the context of new business, it's the activity, it's the messaging, it's the things that you can directly impact, not influence. Now, the power of doing this is huge. By focusing on what you can control, you cut out the noise. All of the noise that when we switch on our news channels and our phones are right there in front of us. When we speak to other people, all of the concerns that we have about the future are just noise. By focusing on what you can control, you cut out that noise. It feels a lot nicer, I promise you. You can also get really clear on what matters within your business. What is really going to move the needle, both this year and for every year beyond that. What really makes a difference? And it allows you to feel empowered because there are so many things that are outside of our control. Holding on to them and hoping that they will get to a point where they go our way or we get a result that we want is completely disempowering because we can't affect those things. It's like hoping for good weather. It's nice when it happens, but it's outside of our control. If you want to feel empowered, we need to focus on what we can change. And feeling empowered allows us to take action. That is the magic of focusing on only what you can control. You feel completely empowered to take the actions that you need to move your business forward. It is invigorating. And it's something that you can do whenever you feel overwhelmed. So whenever you find yourself just caught up, and I've spoken to a lot of business owners recently who have found themselves in this situation, you only have to look at those three words that people used to describe their businesses earlier to see that a lot of people are feeling overwhelmed or stressed or finding this really, really bloody hard. And in those moments, what I encourage you to do is get out a pen, grab some paper, and scribble down what is in my control. What are the things that I can impact, and what am I going to do about it? Nothing else goes on that list. You cannot affect anything else. Stop worrying about it. It's out of your control. Focus on what you can actually change. You do that, it'll be absolutely transformational. And it is the foundation for all good things that will happen in 2026. Next up, we need to get excited for the year ahead. We need to get excited for 2026 because if you can't get excited, then no one else will. If you can't get excited, no one else will. So how do we get excited for 2026? Well, the first thing to say is that this is on you. This is on all of us listening to this. We are not victims here. We are in charge. And if it's up to us to get excited. So how do we do that? Well, this is a chance to reimagine your business. We are not stuck here. We can do whatever we want. We all took the bold move at some point in the past to quit our jobs and set up our businesses. We are not afraid to make these bold moves. And at that point, we had a vision, we had an idea, we had something that was important to us, something that we were excited about. And if you can reconnect with what got you excited in the first place, that is a great place to start. So when you look to the future, if you had a blank sheet of paper, what would you do? What would the future look like? How could you get really excited about 2026? And what is within your control that you would want to change? And that might not be just the financial results that you're getting. It could be a whole myriad of things. It could be the type of clients that you work with, the people that you work with, or even how you spend your time. What is it that's important to you? What would get you really excited about the year ahead? This is an opportunity to reimagine your business. And this phrase is one that you've heard a lot. How can I make this the best year yet? And it sounds really glib when I say it now, but I want you to really reflect hard on this question and do it regularly. What would need to be true for 2026 to be the best year you have ever had? Journal on that, ponder on that when you're on your walks, when you're doing your thinking time. The more you think about that, the more ideas that will pop into your head, and you will find those things that get you excited, that will determine what 2026 needs to look like for it genuinely to be your best year yet. This is on you. Now, once you're excited about the year ahead, the next thing we need to do is to bring our teams on the journey with us, because everything is so much easier when everyone is pulling in exactly the same direction. Or to put it another way, it only takes one person to gently dig their heels in and it suddenly gets a lot harder. So how do you bring your team on the journey with you? Well, it's important that we create an exciting vision together. They need to be as excited about this as we are. So what is it that we are all heading towards? And if you can work with your team to help create that together, they will see their fingerprints on it. They will be way more connected to it, way more inclined to go on that journey with you, rather than you just presenting a vision. Now, I've chatted to a lot of agency owners over the years who have said, well, look, I'm the one that needs to come up with a vision. That's my job. And then I go and share that with my team. And that is definitely one way of doing it. But you are perfectly capable of having that vision and then facilitating an exercise that gets to the same result, where the team feel way more included in that process. Yes, it takes longer, but I promise you it will be way more empowering and impactful if you do it that way. Create an exciting vision together and bring your team on that journey. When doing that, it's really important that you help your team understand what they will get out of it by going on this journey with you. And that isn't just financial reward. Something that we talk about a lot at the Wow Company is our purpose. We help people to build beautiful businesses. That gets us excited. That motivates all of our team every single day to work tirelessly for our clients and through events like this to help you build more beautiful businesses. Genuinely, that gets us fired up. That gets us excited. What gets your team fired up and excited? What's in it for them by going on this journey? Now, it might be connection with a purpose. It might be financial reward. It might be the sort of work that they get really excited about or clients they want to work on. It might be the future career progression. It might be all of those things. But what is really important to your team, and how can you position this bright, exciting vision and the journey that you need to go on in a way that will ensure they come on that journey with you? Something that will really help is if you set a clear, unifying goal. One thing that you can all get behind as a team. Now, that might be a revenue figure or a profit figure, but it might be something else. It might be something purposeful that you want to achieve as a business, raising a certain amount for charity. It might be that you want to achieve world-class client service by achieving an NPS score in excess of 80. It might be another metric that you have within your business, a goal that you are striving towards. It might be that you are working to an exit one day and your team have a stake in that exit. But whatever it is that you have as a goal, to hit the next £1 million of turnover, or to win your first 100 grand client, or to raise this amount for charity, if you can have a clear unifying goal that everyone gets behind and everyone is excited about, this is going to be a whole lot easier. And in doing this, it's really important that you just check in every now and again to ensure that there is simplicity, clarity, and alignment with what you do. Things need to be simple and easy to understand. There's enough complexity in the world. We do not need to add to it. We need to make sure that things are really clear for our team. If I asked each of your team individually right now, what is the vision for this business? What is the goal that we are aiming for right now? Would I get the same answer from every single one of them? Is everyone clear? Is everyone aligned behind what you're doing? And if the answer to that question is no, you know you have some work to do. You probably knew that already, but I promise you, when things are simple and clear and aligned, everything is easier. What do you need to do to get that simplicity, clarity, and alignment with your team? And once you have that, this isn't just a one-off exercise. This is a journey. And so it's really important that you update everyone on your progress as you go through. People love to know what's going on. They love to know where they're winning and losing. And our jobs is to share that information with them in a simple and easy to understand way, not chucking whole profit and loss accounts at them or management accounts at them. That's not going to help them understand. It's about giving them the information that helps them understand whether they're winning and losing, and crucially, what they need to do to impact performance. That's where the magic happens. And on that journey, on that exciting journey, if you really want to bring your team along, it's important to celebrate the wins. Because let's be honest, for a lot of people right now, it's pretty tough. But I promise you, no matter how tough it is, there are loads of great things happening within your business. And I've told this story before about the wall of noise. And every time I do, people absolutely love it. So if you've heard it before, just go with it. Just reflect on whether you're actually doing it, by the way. And if you've not heard it before, then this is a treat. So the wall of noise was something we conceived at WOW back in 2012. Paul and I were listening to the Olympic coverage, and we were listening to the Olympic rowers talk about their performance. And 2012 was a record haul for medals for Team GB, particularly in the rowing. And all of the athletes talked about the noise that hit them when they hit the grandstands. As they were rowing towards the grandstands, they felt like they were hit by a wall of noise, and that surged them on to victory. We wanted to create our own wall of noise, and we did it in a really simple way. We have a Slack channel at WOW called WOW Stories. And in that channel contains stories of teammates doing great work, clients saying amazing things about us, and the wins that we celebrate every single day within our business. The small wins that lead to big wins that help us on our journey, that keep us all going when, let's be frank, it occasionally gets tough. How are you celebrating the wins within your business? What is your equivalent of the wall of noise that will help bring your team on the journey with you? So far, we have covered 3 golden rules for 2026. Focus on what you can control. Get excited for the year ahead and bring your team on the journey. The next one is going to challenge you. I'm going to challenge you to make a bold move. What could you do that would propel you towards your vision? Propel you towards your vision. Now, I talked about this concept at a talk for agency hackers in Ibiza. And if you were there in Ibiza and you've heard this section before, I want you to just reflect on how well you are making the bold move that perhaps you committed to back in September. Now, if you've not heard it before, I have some questions for you. Could you hire someone? Is that the bold move that would propel you towards your bright, exciting future? Maybe when you look at what you want to achieve, it's just not possible without bringing in that senior person within your business. Maybe a technical director, a creative director, a project lead, or maybe it's someone that's going to free you up from a load of client work that you are doing. What is it that, or who is it that you could hire that would make 2026 a completely different year for you? Who is that key person? Maybe your bold move isn't to hire someone, it's to fire someone. Maybe you're being held back by a person within your business that you know deep down just isn't going to take you on the journey that you want to go on. Maybe it's someone you've tried hard to improve the performance of. Maybe it's someone who's just not the right cultural fit. But I would wager that almost everyone listening to this has a person in mind, someone that you know deep down just doesn't cut the mustard for the journey ahead. Maybe now is the time to make a bold move and take action with that person. I've written fire someone there. We're not Alan Sugars here, right? We're going to do this properly. We're going to do it nicely. And we should definitely take appropriate HR advice. But I promise you, every single person I have spoken to who has done this has said, and I'm talking 100%, I wish I had done it sooner. So whatever is holding you back, find a way to get over that hurdle and make the change within your business, because this is really tough. We need everyone working and pulling in the right direction. When it comes to firing people, maybe you need to fire a client. Maybe a client is holding you back. Maybe it's one that's unprofitable or ungrateful or just doesn't fit with the future that you want to build for your business. Maybe your team are fed up of working with them. Maybe firing a client is the key to freeing up some headspace and time and energy within your business to move forward. Maybe you need to completely reshape your business model. And there's lots of options for how you could do this. So I've spoken to some agencies and consultancies that have said, look, what we've realized is we're far too feast and famine. We want to add much more clients on retainers or on programs of work, steady, repeatable income. That's how we want to reshape our business model. I've spoken to people who've said, do you know what? I'm fed up of managing team. I want to reduce the number of team down. I want to streamline things and make things simple. I've heard other people say, well, I want to move away from freelancers or associate models to building more of an employed team. I really want to invest in this business and I want to grow it. I want to reshape my business model that way. Maybe you need to think about your average client value, move away from smaller pieces of work to larger pieces of work. What is it that you could do that would reshape your business model, ideally giving you more of what you want personally, and ideally in a way more profitable way? Perhaps you need to focus disproportionately on some services that are your most profitable. Maybe in doing that, you need to reposition your business. Maybe you've got a perfectly good business model, but you just need to reposition your business. Your website's out of date. It doesn't accurately reflect what you're doing and who you're doing it for and the value that you add. Maybe you need to reposition your business. Maybe your bold move is to have a conversation with your business partner. I know lots of people who have got stuck because they're in partnerships with people who aren't fully aligned with their view of the world. Maybe there's a misalignment around work ethic or long-term ambition or even direction of the business. And if you are feeling that misalignment with the people at the top of your business, either in the senior leadership team or with your business partner, maybe now's the time to be bold and have a conversation. And again, I've spoken to lots of businesses over the years who've come to me first to just seek some counsel before they have these conversations. And again, every time I catch up with them afterwards, they say, "I'm so glad we've done that." It was clear that there was this tension between us. We wanted to go in different directions. Now we can go in different directions. And the other person's happier and I'm happier. I would encourage you, if you are in an unhappy business relationship with someone due to a misalignment, have the conversation, see if you can get aligned and get clear. And if you can't, it's perfectly okay to go your separate ways. Great things will happen if you do. Maybe it's time to sell your business. Maybe when you look at this and think, do you know what? I don't want to do this business anymore. There's other things I want to do. And there's lots of ways that you can sell your business. You can do a trade sale. You can be bought by a customer. You can merge with another business. Maybe you want to be part of something bigger. You maybe don't want to get out. You just want to be part of something bigger and have someone else take care of, I don't know, all of the stuff that you're not interested in. And maybe that is what appeals to this. Maybe it's an opportunity for you to do something called an EOT, an employee ownership trust. And that's something that we explored in a podcast with Sinks from Us too. It's a brilliant podcast. We've shared a link in the chat. Maybe that's the opportunity to actually hand over the ownership of your business to the employees. Perhaps that's your bold move. But whatever it is that you want to achieve, wherever it is that you are heading, whatever exciting vision that you have for your business, you will not get very far unless you make a bold move. So what are you going to do? What sends a little tingle down your spine? What is going to get you excited for the year ahead? And what could you do before the end of the year to show that you are really serious about making 2026 your best year yet? Now, something else I talked about when I was in Ibiza was to check your habits. This is a really good question because what got you here might not get you to where you want to go. The habits that got you here might not serve you on the next phase of your journey. So, some questions for you. When it comes to checking your habits, what do you want to stop doing? I'm just going to pause and give you a moment to reflect. When you think about all of the stuff that you do, what's not serving you anymore? What was perhaps useful 2-3 years ago, but is no longer quite so useful? Maybe you've hired people to do that job and you're still doing it, still tinkering, still dabbling. What could you stop doing that will free up time to do something else, something way more impactful, way more valuable to the business? What do you want to start doing with that time freed up? What do you want to do with that extra time? What investments could you make that would make a really big difference to your business? When you look at all of the things that can happen in your business, how do you want to spend your time? You're in control here. Sometimes it feels like that we're not in control, that our clients and our staff are telling us what to do. The whole business is telling us what to do. Well, this is an opportunity to reassess that, to check our habits. What do you want to stop doing? What do you want to start doing? And what do you want to double down on? What are the things that you're doing that you think, oh, do you know what? I could spend a bit more time doing that. That would make a disproportionate difference. Maybe it's time working on the culture of your business or with your senior leadership team or on the strategy of the business. Maybe it's time on working on new business and actually focusing on the sales and marketing engine. What is it that you could double down on that would get you the results that you need? and what habits do you need to change in order to achieve that? And if you find yourself stuck in a habit, it's good to explore your thinking. What is it that you are thinking that causes you to do the thing that you know deep down isn't serving you? If you can see and understand that thinking, it's going to be really powerful in helping you change those habits. So, if you've been in business for a while, these are really good questions to ask yourselves regularly, every 6 months. As you grow, as your business grows, it's perfectly normal that your role should be changing. What do you want to stop doing? What do you want to start doing? What do you want to double down on? Every 6 months, keep asking yourself these questions, evolve and adapt. I promise you, your habits will determine where you end up. So check your habits and make sure you've got good ones. Make sure you start each day doing exactly the things that will make the biggest difference. Do you do that right now? Or are there some changes you want to make? Right, we are nearly there. The final thing that you need to focus on for 2026 to be a brilliant year for you is this. We need to know our numbers. We need to know them really, really clearly, because these are the foundations for everything good that you want to happen next year and beyond. So what does knowing your numbers look like? Well, I have some questions for you. Have you got the right financial expertise to drive your business forward? As you grow, things get more complicated. There are a lot more moving parts. And I want to know, and I'm sure you do too, have you got within your team the right financial expertise to drive your business forward? Do the people around you really understand the numbers? Do you understand the numbers? And not just now, but what's coming next? Do you know what a finance function looks like for a business twice your size, or whatever it is you're heading in the next year or two? Have you got the right expertise to guide you on the journey and drive things forward? And do you have the key financial information that you need to make your decisions right at your fingertips and present it in a way you understand? If I ask you now for your key information, do you have it there? Could you say, yeah, no problem. I have a report, click, click, click. Here it is. I've got it. Or are you waiting and waiting and wondering and making decisions based on guesswork? Do you have the key information you need at your fingertips? Can you measure gross profit in detail by project, by client, by sector, by service, by team, by individual? If you've heard me talk before, you will know I keep asking this question. And the reason I keep asking this question is it's really, really important. And not enough agencies and consultancies are measuring these metrics in detail. Let's look at them one by one. Are you measuring gross profit by project, live, in the moment, not after the project? We need to know whether we're ahead or behind in the moment, week by week, so that we can make decisions and course correct. Are you measuring gross profit by client? I'm pretty sure you could tell me a league table of clients by revenue, but do you have that by profit? Do you know which clients are making you money and which ones are losing you money? Do you know which sectors are making money and losing money? We started working with a client recently and they didn't know this information. So Q1, that's what we helped work with them on, giving them this information at their fingertips. What they discovered was they worked in 3 sectors. 2 of them were simply not profitable. They made all their money from one sector. That information just changed their outlook. They've stopped working with those other 2 sectors now, and they are focusing entirely on this one sector. And I cannot wait to see their results transform. The beauty of having this information is it gives you power. You're able to make decisions. Can you measure your gross profit by service? Again, one of our clients, we did this for years ago, and they had 2 parts of their business, website and SEO build. They realized they made all their money in, web build and SEO. They made all their money in SEO. They did still do web builds after we told them that, but they only did it if there was a contract for 12 months of SEO retainer. They only built a website if there was a contract in place for SEO because they knew that's where they made their money. Do you have that information? Are you able to make those decisions? Do you know who your most profitable teams are? Can you even measure gross profit by individual? Now, we gave a client this ability a few months ago, and it has transformed their conversations with their team, particularly around capacity. Previously, when the team would come to them and say, oh, I'm really busy, we're flat out, we need some freelancers to help with this, they had absolutely no data to go on to figure out whether or not that was true. Now they can work out by individual and team who are the most profitable and where the challenges are. So are you billing 3 times what it is costing us? And if you're billing short of that, in their case, that's their target. Okay, what's going wrong? What do we need to change? Is there a training issue? Are we misscoping? Is fundamentally the client not profitable? What is it that we need to change in order to get and hit 3 times salary for this individual? It has transformed their conversations with their team. I would love for this to do the same for you. Do you know your numbers? Do you know this in detail? And by the way, I'm never going to stop talking about this until 100% of the people listening to this are measuring gross profit by all of these things. It's the key and foundations to everything. Profit is the precursor to cash, and without cash, we do not have a business. So, do you have a forecast loaded into your finance system? You know, when I started in 2004, Xero wasn't around. And we have this incredible tool now. And there are other accountancy tools out there, but Xero is just mega. You can upload a forecast into Xero, and then as you go through, you hit a button and it tells you whether you're ahead or behind on every single sales code and every single cost code. It turns it red, it turns it green. It's beautiful. I know I shouldn't get as excited as I am about this, but I really like helping businesses understand their performance, where they're winning or where they're losing. If you have a forecast loaded into your finance system, you will know whether you're winning and losing, exactly where you need to look to improve performance. And when it comes to performance, are you reviewing this in a systematic way? So many businesses we occasionally come across will do this as a one-off exercise. This isn't a one-off exercise. You don't just forecast and forget about it. You go back and review every single month. How did we do? Let's have a conversations about what we need to change. Where are we winning? Where are we losing? Are you reviewing performance in a systematic way? Do you have the right financial expertise around the table to help you in that analysis? And are you laser focused on your critical leading indicator of success? I love this. Your critical leading indicator of success. I love boiling everything down to one weekly metric. When you look at what you want to achieve longer term, your bright vision, can you boil it down to one weekly metric? Something that you can take action on every single week, ideally as a whole team, that will propel you towards your bright vision. If you are focused on a sales metric, a really good one is the number of sales conversations. If you focus on sales conversations, that will impact the number of proposals you send out. That will impact the number of clients you pick up. That will impact your revenue, which will impact your profit. It all starts with those sales conversations. Maybe you've got a different leading indicator of success, but do you understand what it is, and are you focused on it? If the answer to any of those questions was no, then we would love to help you change the answer to a yes. This is what we do every single day at WOW. We love helping give our clients information at their fingertips to help you make better decisions. And if you're sat there thinking, gosh, my accountant doesn't talk to me about this stuff, we would love to liberate you from your mediocre accountant. Get in touch with us and we can start the conversation today. So in summary, we're going to move to Q&A in a second, but in summary, the golden rules for 2026 are as follows. Focus on what you can control, nothing else. Only what you can control, cut out the noise, and everything gets easier. Get excited about the year ahead. If you can't get excited, then no one else will. Find out what it is that you need to do to make 2026 your best year yet. Think about it, journal on it, and get excited for making those changes. And then bring your whole team on the journey. Get them excited too by involving them in the vision, sharing progress regularly, and creating your own wall of noise, celebrating those wins on a regular basis. None of this will happen without action. And we need to make a bold move in order to ensure that we start 2026 well, that we are propelling ourselves towards our destination. What bold move could you make that's going to move you forward? And in doing this, we need to check our habits. The old habits that served us really well a few years ago that perhaps aren't going to take us to where we want to get to. What do you want to start doing? What do you want to stop doing? And what do you want to double down on? Finally, We need to know our numbers. Now is not the time for guesswork. We need to know exactly where we're making money and where we're losing money, because that is where great decision making comes from. Information at our fingertips. Those are the golden rules for 2026. I cannot wait to see how you get on that journey. We will be right with you by your side.